All right, Rabotai. Gemara Shiur resumes. Our Wednesday night Gemara Shiur resumes. On the tables, there's papers of Gemara Berachot. You can follow along inside, or you can just listen if you want. Before the holidays, in this class, the last thing we spoke about, we were talking about Berachot on different things, the blessings on different items. And the last class before the holidays, before we switched the topic to holiday topics, was the blessing on raw vegetables that are eaten cooked, or the blessing on cooked vegetables that are eaten raw. Remember, Yanni? Yeah. And so along the same subject, we'll get into another topic here. It'll be a couple of week, 2-3 week step. And we'll start with the Gemara on page 36. 36a Berachot. If you look at the wide lines in the Gemara, it's the fourth wide line. If you want, there's a paper right there. Ready? The Gemara says at the end of the fourth wide line, Korah. The blessing on Korah. Where is Korah? Look at Rashi. It's like in the middle of the page. Korah, the fourth wide line, Moshe. At the towards the end of the fourth wide line, Korah. You see Korah? So Rashi, if you go to the right side, a little higher, Rashi says Korah is Rach Shel Dekel. It's the soft part of the palm tree. The leaves grow every year, like every tree grows. The new growth, the baby new growth of the tree, Rach, is very soft. In the second year, it becomes hard already and becomes part of the palm tree. So this is otherwise known as the Vavot Shel Dekel. Hearts of palm. Hearts of palm it's actually the bark. It's the tree. It's not the bark. It's the actual tree. They peel away the bark and they chop it up, and it's white on the inside, and they chop it and they slice it. They sell it to us for a lot of money. It says the Gemara, Korah, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Borei Pri Ha'adama. Now this is a tree. It's a tree, which is usually ha'etz. Rabbi Yehuda says the bracha is Ha'adama. U'Shmuel Amar she'akol niya bevaro. Shmuel says it's she'akol. What's the reason? Rabbi Yehuda Amar Borei Pri Ha'adama. Why does Rabbi Yehuda hold hearts of palm is Ha'adama? Perahu. It's a fruit tree. And so why in the world would it be she'akol? Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says no. She'akol niya bevaro. Why? Boil b'sofo le'akshot. It's going to get hard next year, like Rashi just explained. If they don't harvest the hearts of palm when it's young, if they wait 1 year, it'll be already hard, like a regular tree. And so it's going to be ruined. I don't think it's the lulav. It's the actual, what's the word for the actual trunk of the tree? The lulav are the branches, I think. The lulav is the middle? I don't know, so there I'm wrong. But the inside of the lulav is nothing. The trunk and the lulav is what? That's what I said. They're the branches. Okay. So we got Menachem. Menachem's good enough for me. So the actual palm is a young palm tree, and I watched documentaries I put on YouTube show me how they harvest hearts of palm. It's very, very interesting. And you can see why it's expensive. Because they're right, yeah, because they're killing a tree. They're killing the tree, and not killing the whole tree, but they're losing a whole tree, all the dates that would have grown and whatever would have grown. So they grow it, and that's why it's very expensive. So the Yehuda holds, Shmuel holds that the Berachan hearts of palm is she'akol. His logic is because this is not really food right now. It's going to be hard next year. Yeah, it's a delicacy when it's a baby, but if you wait 1 year, it's going to get hard. As she says, so for lehakshot, if you don't pick it on time, it becomes hard. Let's see. Now the Gemara goes further and says, Amar le Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel says to Rabbi Yehuda, remember, Rabbi Yehuda says it's ha'adama, and Shmuel says she'akol. So the one who holds it she'akol, Shmuel says to the other rabbi, Shinina, sharp one, you're very smart. Kavatech mistapra. I have to admit, I think your logic makes more sense than my logic, and it should be she'akol. Why? The hatzinon radishes. So for the hakshot. So I don't know this. Menachem, do you know anything about when they grow radishes? If you wait too long on radishes, it gets very hard and I guess not edible. Rashi says. There you go. So Rashi says, if you wait too long on radishes, it becomes hard also like a tree. Yet we still make our adama on radishes. So who cares? So even he's admitting his own tevara is faulty. Even though I say the beracha on hearts of palm is shakul because next year it's not going to be edible. So then why is radishes not shakul? Radishes also should be shakul, but we know the radishes are not. Radishes are adama. Below he says the Gemara. It's not true. It's the wrong logic. Says the Gemara. I'll tell you why radishes are adama. Senon nat inchi adata defugla. People grow radishes for the radishes. You're right, next year it won't be edible, but that's the whole purpose of growing radishes, is to pick them, not to grow a radish wood. What do they want to do with hard wood? Dikla, but a palm date tree, lo netiin chiadata decora. Now you might laugh at this, but no one plants a palm tree just for the hearts. That's what the Gemara says. That she explains, and that she says, they plant it for the fruit. Fugla is the fruit of it. Okay. Says the Gemara rule. If people plant something for some other reason, and you want to get a different benefit from this plant, not for the reason it was planted, either you don't make a beracha, it says here, or you make she'akol. So we're going to go through it. The Gemara asks a question. It says v'aret salaf. Salaf is. Sliha, Moshe. I forgot to say this should be the Torah should be Lilu Nishmata Shel Luna Bat Vida Sultana. Yeah, Moshe. Orange tree.
According to this logic, he didn't plant it with the intention to collect the oranges.
It could be. So the question here is touching on a question of the derech versus an individual person. Let's shelve that for now. We have to get into. It's going to be a process. Let's shelve that for now. Either he's mivatel. It's a question of. So Moshe's question, your question basically is a yahid's da'at mivatel to the da'at of the rabbi. That's your question basically, in Torah words. Yeah, we'll hold it for now. I have to get into it because I want to. At the end of this, I'll read you something from Echam David Yosef. Interesting. Okay, so let's go on. So the Gemara says, I have a question. You just told me that radishes are ha'adama because you grow them for the radishes. Mashma, we see from here, if radishes, let's say you grew radishes not for the radishes. You grew them just to have some sort of a radish tree that doesn't produce edible things, radish bush. It would not be ha'adama. What about a caper tree, a caper bush? Caper bush, denati inchi adata de farha. People grow capers for the farha. She says, what's farha? Shem period. It's the fruit of the caper tree, because the caper tree is very special. The caper bush, it gives off, remember this class? The caper bush, we had a whole class about the caper bush. I'm going to review some of those points in a few minutes for everyone else. If you remember it, Uncle Jack for sure remembers it. Moshe, you were there for the caper one? Yeah. The caper is very special. It has a lot of byproducts, right, Menachem, from the caper bush. So the Gemara says they grow it for the fruit. So what are the parts of the caper bush? When you grow the caper bush, you can eat the leaves. You can eat the little buds, the little tiny buds. That's the capers that we have in it. Like they taste like lemon. They look like peas. Those are future flowers. If you don't pick the buds, they'll turn into a flower. If you leave the bud and it turns into a flower, it will then produce a fruit which is like the size of like an olive, like a little. They sell it. Some people sell it. Like caper. What do they call it? Tamarim. What do they call it? Caper berries. Caper berries. I think they call them.
Yeah.
They call them in the Gemara. They call them tamarim. Dates of a basically the dates of a caper. And there's one more part that you can eat that I didn't see. We're gonna list it right now. With Menachem, there's one more. No, salaf is the whole bush. Oh, you're saying in modern Hebrew they call that salaf? So in Gemara language, salaf is the whole bush. Menachem, the Gemara is going to say in a second, there's a fourth part of the tree. But I Googled it and I don't find anybody eating it. It's the husk that surrounds the caper berry. That also can be eaten. So there's four parts according to the Gemara. Let's see right now. People grow caper bush for the berries. Vetanan, and we learned amine nitzvah on caper trees. Rashi says, mine nitzvah utzalaf. That's the name of tzlaf in Aramaic or Mishnah, I guess. The fish gedalimbo kama mine achila. It has so many different foods come from it. Kari lemine. That's why they call it different types of fruit that come from the tzlaf. What, Yanni? Selafim they call it. So in this word, salaf is the whole bush. Al ha'elin, on the leaves of the caper bush. Vala timarot, and on the dates of the caper bush. Rashi, timarot, what dates are there on the caper bush? Be'tol ha'elim, inside the leaves, gadelim, they're grown kimin timarot, like dates. Ubolatin be'ela, and they pop out of the leaf. Kimo be'elin shel araba, just like the leaves of an araba. That's what she says. On those two things, on the leaves and on the berries, omed bore peri ha'adama. You say ha'adama on those, even on the leaves. Ve'al ha'evyonot, the evyonot that she says, hu'a peri. That's the fully developed caper fruit. The fully developed fruit, ve'al ha'kafrisin, and on the kafrisin, what's the kafrisin? Kafrisin, as she says, hu kelipa gedolah. Menachem, this is what I was talking about. But she says kafrisin, kelipa gedolah. It's a big peel. Shesevivot haperi, which is around the fruit. Ke'en kelipa hagedila saviv egozim dakim. The sort of the shell, not the shell, the outer layer around nuts. So in modern, I didn't see anyone on Google eating these things, but it appears they eat those also. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? So, just by the way, a fun fact: kafrisin. We say this word every day. Yeah. Yen kafrisin. What is yen kafrisin? That's the pshat of yen kafrisin. When you say, what do you think? That's the pshat. Yeah, that's the pshat. When you read every day the Ketorah, you say yen kafrisin. What do you think to yourself? You always think yen kafrisin, the wine of Cyprus. Yain shel kafris. So you think about. So the Gemara, where this comes from, this Ketorah that we say, it's from a Gemara, Keritut. Rashi over there says two pshatim. First pshat, Rashi says, is yain shel kafris, Cyprus wine. And what did it do? Shetei azah. It made it strong, so it must have been strong. And the second pshat, Rashi says, is from the cypress bush. I don't know, the leaves maybe. They made some sort of wine out of it. Two pshatim. So on these two things, so again, there's four parts of the caper bush. On the leaves and on the dates, you say ha'adama. On the fully developed fruits and on the husks, the kaprisin, you say ha'etz. Yaniv, you hear this? Ha'etz. Again, there's four parts of this salah. Ha'etz. It's not even a tree, the caper. It's a bush. We just said the byproduct is she'akol. Very good. No she'akol here. Why not she'akol? Just like the parts of farm. Yeah, but why not? Why not she'akol? Why not she'akol? But she'akol. Why not? It's a byproduct. You grow the cypress. You grow the Caper bush for the leaves? Who grows the caper bush for the leaves? We just said hearts of palm is she'akol because you don't grow it for the heart. You grow it for the palm. The question is, we just learned the byproduct is she'akol. A byproduct. Anavim? Dates? I mean grapes. That's what you grow it for. No, forget the Etz question. I'm asking why not she'akol? She'akol. We just said a byproduct is she'akol. That's the only answer. You're growing it for every one of these things. The dog. I'm growing the caper bush for everything. So the Gemara says, Aman Rahman bar Yitzhak, Selah, a caper bush, Nati inchi, people grow, Adata de shuta, they grow it for the shuta, for the husks, the kala, dikla, and a palm tree, lo nati inchi adata dekora. Nobody grows it for a palm tree. In fact, I believe that she says that if anything, you're ruining the tree. You know how many dates you could have grown? You're literally hurting the tree. It doesn't make any sense. Now they sell it for a lot of money. Yeah. So Shwaya, we'll get there in a second.
I think it's the original, so to speak, when
who agrees with Moshe? Who agrees with Moshe?
Now, what we do is we go in the middle of the process when the palm is growing, and we said, wait a second, we actually found something inside. So,
who does it go by? Does it go by us or Hashem? It goes by Hashem. Moshe has a svara here. The beracha goes on what Hashem created the fruit. Hashem didn't create the palm tree to eat the tree. That's what Moshe is saying.
No, the obviously intended for us. But it's intended for us to recognize Maaseh Bria, recognize that
so the fize.
So the fize, I think what's happening, what's unique to the art of palms, basically.
Hold on, but I want to go back to your question. The fize, Moshe, according to this logic, if all of a sudden some sort of celebrity decides to eat orange tree bark, or roots, orange tree roots, and now everybody's eating orange. It's a delicacy. It's everything. Take away the oranges, and they're eating the. What would you say? Okay, so we have to see if this is right. Who agrees with him? It goes by what Hashem decides, or it goes by what we decide?
The
modern day.
I don't even know if I agree with myself with the way you phrase it. If I was going to do something.
This class over the next couple of weeks is going to get into other questions such as, visit. We call it bizit, pumpkin seeds. What do you call it in Egyptian? Garanim. How do you say it in Turkish? Pumpkin seeds. You have a word for it? Bizit, we call it. Do they grow? So when Hashem created the pumpkin, did he create it for the pumpkin or the seeds? But now, so do we change the blessing?
The thing with the art of palm is you're intervening in the growth of the tree because you found something. It's not like here is the tree fully matured, giving you dates, giving you this, and one says, I'll take the dates. The other one says, I'll take the bark. The other one says, I'll take the bark.
So you're ruining the tree.
You're ruining the tree. You're interfering with the original intent. That's why you're shit.
So hold on. If you were not ruining the tree, let's say it was the outer bark. You peel it off and that's hard to find. But it didn't kill the tree.
If it was like it was complete, I would say that the same logic of the salafim would apply.
Interesting. Menachem, what are you saying?
Because some people are using it for this, some people are using it for this, some people are using it for this.
There are countries they grow up watermelons only for the seeds. They don't make the watermelon, only the seeds.
So we have to see if we have a power.
They need the watermelon, they need only the seeds.
So over the next.
Sometimes land is lost the seeds. I don't know why.
I love the seeds. The pumpkin seeds. The pumpkin's the best one. Yeah. Bamba, that I was thinking about in my head. Bamba, they're growing the peanuts for Bamba. Oh, sorry, the The corn. They're growing it for this. From peanuts and corn. Peanuts and corn, I think. Okay, guys, let's get this. We're gonna have to address this. I like it. We have to address this. It might take a little while. Okay, so it says the Gemara. So again, what happened over here? Let's review. Mahloket, argument. Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel holds Boreh. Shmuel holds Boreh. She'akol niyav bebarot. Rabbi Yehuda holds no. Make ha adama on the hearts of palm. Shmuel tells Rabbi Yehuda, I kind of like your logic because my way I'm ruining the tree. That's what Shmuel says. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Says the Gemara, and then the Gemara brought caper bush to try to prove the concept, and the Gemara says, no, caper bush you plant for all four things. So the Gemara finishes and says, very rare that in my opinion, the afagav the kaleseh Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda hilchata kedavatet Shmuel. Even though Shmuel likes the other one, the Gemara says halacha is like you Shmuel. And so the Gemara says maskana. The fee the Gemara as already. Don't leave yet. The Gemara says beracha on hearts of palm is she'akol niyav bebarot. You see, even though he agreed with the other one. Now we have to finish the halakha. No, hold on.
I think the logical way says it becomes harder. It should be. Well, it's basically saying this heart palm is an undefined part.
Not food, b'chlal.
It's not food. So now you look at it as a fruit, but it's going to be hard soon. With the reddish, the reddish is a reddish. Whether it becomes hard or not, it was always a reddish.
And that's why you grow it.
And that's why you.
Yeah. And the farmers.
That's why.
Now, Menachem, the reason I'm thinking these days they're charging $7 a can in Cambridge for hearts of palm. I buy it from Restaurant Depot. It's the cheapest over there. Buy the whole case, $5 a can. I like the big ones, the whole ones. These days, yeah. These days, if they didn't charge such extraordinary amounts of money, who would grow a palm tree for hearts of palm? The price proves to you, the price itself proves to you, it doesn't make sense. You make more money as a farmer, obviously, growing dates and selling the dates. Unless you pay me an arm and a leg, I'm not killing my tree. That's the price shows you. That's what it shows you. That's why it's so expensive. But it's just so amazing. My kids eat it like crazy. Is it a fruit tree? Is it killing the tree? It keeps growing every year. It keeps growing. It's just the new growth. Every year, the new growth. Yeah. Every year, the new growth is chopped off. Now, I just want to say, we mentioned the capers. And I know a couple of guys heard this, but I love the caper bush, and I want to say that piece very quickly for the people who weren't here for that other class a long time ago by Parashat Silov Had. So just about the capers, because the capers is a very special bush in Judaism. We see over here, first of all, what other example of something that has 4 edible, and they're not byproducts. They're all products, either ha'adama or ha'etz. They're not shakol. The caper bush, and I did too many hours of YouTube over the years watching about caper bushes. Last night I was watching. I told my wife I'm going to plant capers outside. She's like, "Oh, please! I really want to do it." The caper bush is very special. First of all, it can withstand anything. I was watching one place. They said they don't water it. It's 100 degrees outside. It doesn't die. It's so strong. It has very strong thorns. And you can hurt yourself when you go in there. It's very protective and it's very strong. And the Gemara, remember the Gemara I read in the thorns are the other way. Yeah, when you come to pull it out, it gets you. Most thorns they hurt you on your way in. The caper hurts you on the way out. Remember what I said? We'll hold that for a second. The Gemara in Betzah, it says. Capers? That's even better. I didn't know that. Don't talk about those people. The Gemara says in Betzah, Shilosha azinhen. in nature, there are three very strong things in nature. Oh, any? No way. Ain't gonna stop us yet. There we go. Shilosha azinhen. There are three strong things it says in the Gemara. One, Yisrael be'umot. The Jews are so stubborn, like cockroaches. You step on them, they won't die. The Jews are strong amongst the nations. Kelev behayot. The dog amongst the wilder animals, very brazen. Tanegol be'ofot. The chickens amongst the birds are very, very strong and stubborn. Ez babehemadaka. The goat amongst the farm animals. We know goats are stubborn. Slaf be'ilanot. Of all the trees, the caper bush is the most strong, stubborn one. So on the same list as Yisraelim is capers, number one. And that's us, basically. They can't finish us off. And you may remember, Moshe, I read two Gemaras in Shabbat. Remember the Gemara Shabbat? Gemara Shabbat, page 30, talks about Mashiach. It's a whole machloket in Gemara Shabbat, whether Mashiach's going to have miracles or be like a normal world. We know what Rambam holds. It's going to be like a normal world. And the Gemara says, Rabban Gamaliel taught, Atida Isha Sheteled B'chol Yom. When Mashiach comes, he held, women are going to give birth every day. There's not going to be 9 months. The whole curse from last week's parasha of 9 months is going to be erased. And so every day, they conceive, have a baby. Shnei Amar, as it says in Pasuk, Ligleg alav oto talmid. Remember this? The students start laughing. What are you, crazy, Rabbi? Baby every day? Amar en ko hadash tahat hashamish. There's nothing new under the sun. Hashem doesn't have anything in this world that creates in one day. And so Hashem's never going to create something brand new idea. He says, no, there's nothing that's created in one day. He showed him chickens. Every day the chickens have eggs. So too, just like Hashem did the chickens have eggs every day, so too the women will have babies every day. And he was sitting again and he said, fruit trees, when Mashiach comes, they're going to give fruit every day in the fruit tree. He laughed at him. He says, where do you see something every day? He showed him a caper bush, because the caper bush every day has something you can eat, whether it's the leaf, or it's the berry, or it's the husk, or it's one of these four things every single day. And so therefore, we see it's a gil laughing. It's what we use as an example for Mashiach, which is us, Yisrael ben Almot. And furthermore, remember the story about the Hasid in Shabbat? And you remember the story of the Hasid? He was on Shabbat. He saw that he had a hole in his fence. The Gemara on Shabbat says there was a Hasid. This is page 150. You just did this. What page are you up to? You finished. You just did this. There was a Hasid. There was a hole in his fence. It is Shabbat. And he wants to fix the hole in his fence on Shabbat. He said, I'm going to go fix my fence even though it's Saturday. He said, nah, it's Shabbat. I can't do it. And he didn't fix the fence. A miracle happened. And a caper bush grew and filled the hole. So Hashem said, I'll fix your fence for you. Why a caper bush? Dafka, a caper bush fills the hole. The caper bush is very, very special. Remember the Beis Hai and the Hida and the Arizal? This Hasid was a Gilgul of Silaf Had ben Hefer. Salaf Had, one Salaf. It's the same word, Silaf Had. So remember the Beis Hai says, Silaf Had ben Hefer, the guy who was B'koshesh Etzim, he collected sticks on Shabbat and they stoned him. Says the Beis Hai, he made a mistake with sticks and he ended up being stoned. This guy, he was about to make a mistake with stones on his fence and he fixed the stones, so he got sticks. And Beis Hai says, remember this? Now, who is this Hasid? Says the Arizal, whenever it says Ma'aseh b'Hasid Yahad, with one Hasid, it's always one guy. Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai. Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai is always the anonymous Hasid. Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai says that Arizal was also Gilgul of Silaf Had ben Hefer. Midrash says, why did Silaf Had collect the sticks? He didn't remember Shabbat. He didn't think about Hashem. Midrash says, besides for that, by the way, I'm going to go through this really quick because we did this once already a long time ago. The Mahashah says Why did Moshe Rabbeinu take this guy and throw him in jail? Just stone him. You know the halakha. What was he in doubt about? You remember this. The Maharsha says no. Since the Gemara says Silafhat ben Hayfet had good intentions, he didn't really want the sticks. He wanted to prove the point. On Shabbat, you need melichet mahashevet. You have to have a creative work. And if you do something on Shabbat that you don't really want the product, it's melacha she'en tzricha legufo. I don't need this thing. And so maybe it's melacha she'en tzricha legufo. He shouldn't be punished. That's the question Moshe Rabbeinu has, says the Maharsha. Hashem said, no, do it. Says the Sulabhad ben Hayfet, says the Midrash, since on Shabbat he was walking around and he wasn't wearing tefillin, because there's no tefillin on Shabbat, he violated and sinned. If he would have been wearing tefillin, says the Midrash, he would never have done it, even though he wanted to prove a point. Therefore, says the Midrash, Hashem, what comes right after the story of Sulabhad ben Hayfet? That's no. Right after the story comes the mitzvah of sisit. Therefore, Hashem says, I know you don't have tefillin on Shabbat, but you have sisit. You got to wear sisit and remember me on Shabbat with sisit at least. Therefore, let's put it all together. Who did we say this Hasid was? Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai. He was a Gilgul of Sulabhad ben Hayfet. And he made a mistake with tefillin, and therefore Hashem said, hey, you should have cared about your sisit. Says the Gemara on Shabbat on page 25, what every single person used to do, what the rabbis used to do before Shabbat. And Rabbi Yehuda bar Ilai, he used to grab areva mela'ah hamin, he used to wash himself on Friday before Shabbat, and he would wear sisit on Friday before Shabbat. Why dafka sisit? Because he is still Sulabhad ben Hayfet who messed up on the tefillin. That's the kafrisi. That's the salat. That's a very powerful bush. That's us. That's us. They'll never destroy us. That's the caper bush. Now, back to the halakha here. Rambam. 5 minutes and we're done. Rambam says, Hakod, what's the score? Are you kidding me? What? I was here studying Torah and I should have Dodger scored 5 runs. Hakod. Come on. It was 5-0. No, I'm not a Dodgers fan. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up the halakha. The Gemara called parts of palm korah. Rambam calls it cord. Hakod, the hurosh hadeker. The cord, which is the top of the palm tree, shu kamor etz lavan. It's like a white tree, Rambam says. The hearts of palm. Neberech alav shehakol. Rambam says the blessing on palm, hearts of palm, is shehakol. What about Shulchan Aruch? Says Shulchan Aruch. You're so sure? We're not doing a bait and switch on you? Moshe, you sure about that? Says Shulchan Aruch. Ala Korah, Shehu Harach Hanitosef Be'ilan Bechol Shana Shikorin Palamintu. Hey, Menachem, what's Palamintu? What's Palamintu? Palamintu is Turkish? What's Palamintu? Maran Shulchan Aruch says it's Palamintu, they call it. Yeah, Palamintu. No, Palmitu. Oh, palm. Palmitu is palm. On Korah, which is palm, the alulav gefanim. Blah. Skipping. Mevarech shehakol. Says Maran Shulchan Aruch, the blessing on hearts of palm is shehakol. Says Acham David Yosef, who now I can call the current chief rabbi. Says Acham David Yosef, levavot deker. Palmitu belongs, palm. Shehem kelahim levanim. Kelahim? Sprouts? Cuts. Hanimsaim be'etz hadeker. Be'edorat hakodmim hayata b'rechatam she'akol. They used to be the blessing before they started charging $8 again. She'akol. Preshikar gidulo shel etz hadeker hayat l'shem achilat temanim. They grew the palm tree for the dates. But hearts of palm these days, they're preserved in cans. Obviously, it's a whole business. They plant it just for the hearts. Nobody cares about the dates anymore. Says David. Not ha'etz. Why not ha'etz? On the whole bottom of the thing, he says, why not ha'etz? It's adama because it's not even the fruit. It's just the tree. It's not a penny. It's not a fruit. He compares it to sugar cane. Sugar cane, which is sha'akol, but it's a massive mahloket. What the beracha? Ever try sugar cane juice?
Yes.
So I love it. They had it in Costco a little while ago. Yeah, 100% sugar cane juice. Sugar, Rambam says, is sha'akol. It comes from the tree, from the peel.
Because you really don't
You're squeezing it out. But the hearts of palm says, I'm going to read you 4 lines from the bottom, and then we'll go.
So the sugar
Sha'akol, yeah. But it's definitely not ha'etz. Says Hacham David, Bizmanenu mitzuim levavot dekel shenimkarim b'mechir gavoa habeh yoter min hatemarim. They sell the hearts of palm for a lot of money. For sure they grow them for this. No one would say it's not ha'adama these days. Why not ha'etz? It's not a fruit. You're eating the actual trunk. That's already not borei pri ha'etz. That's borei pri adama. And therefore, we have to push. This is going to take a few weeks. We just started with the first part. Bottom line says, I wanted to read you one more thing. Hacham David. Yeah, that's a good question. Hacham David says over here, Yesh Lomad. Here, listen to one line and then we'll close it up. He says over here, hold on. Here. You know, I'll put it to next week. Baruch Amen. Make ha'adama on the hearts of palm. Rabbi Hananah ben Akashya Omer. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Eretz Yisrael. Picha kadbal and Gan Tzvah Shel Yamad. Al Rosh Hafez L'Ma'an. Sekol Yadi Torah V'Yadi.